and welcome to episode 29 of the Fiber and Dice podcast. I am your host, Rebecca. You can find me on Ravelry and Instagram as Engineers Falcon. You can find the group on Ravelry.
Fiber and Dice.
Fiber and Dice. That's what he's here for tonight. You can find the show notes at bluebonnetfibers.com. And you can also find us by searching Fiber and Dice, FIBERANDDICE on YouTube. I have a co-host tonight. The engineer is going to sit in with me because I will put a picture on Instagram of the massive pile of stuff I have. And it is not in any kind of order, so he's going to hand it to me as we talk. And he's going to help me keep things in order. He's very orderly. I am not. We balance each other out in that aspect.
We really do.
We do. So, first is Peaks and Pitfalls. Peaks this week. I don't even know here.
I guess it's on the list, isn't it?
Oh, I was just going to pull one of them out, but I pulled all the show notes out. That was brilliant. Brilliant. Okay. I'm not going to have a lot of progress to show you on things. I don't know why I wrote this down as a peak. It's kind of a pitfall, but it's kind of a peak. I wrote ripping out for good. I don't think I have ever, in the hundreds of times I've ripped things out, regretted it. So I keep telling myself all the things I ripped out and started over this week multiple times are for the good. I'm sorry. The glare on my glasses is driving me crazy. It's probably driving you crazy too. I'll try to find a place where they're not too glary. It's gonna be a ride, guys. Just buckle in. I think I made good choices by ripping everything out and starting fresh this week. So we'll see. We'll see next week if I am still confident in that decision. What else is going on? Oh, I'm calling this episode Harmony for a couple of reasons. One, all of this ripping out was to help me find harmony in between yarn and pattern and my skill set and my desires of what I like to knit. And I love that feeling when you get just the right project with just the right yarn, with just the right amount of thought, like when everything just comes together and it's perfect. And I was thinking about that, about harmony this week because of something coming up in our prize thread, which I will talk about in just a minute. Other peaks this week, I have a 12-year-old. It's so fun. His first act as a 12-year-old was to beat the game Ni no Kuni. He did that on his birthday.
It was a proud parenting moment.
It was
both of us.
It was a proud parenting moment for him to beat his first real grown-up video game. So, of course, now he's got lots of things to go back and do and finish, but the main storyline and the final boss are beat, and so that was pretty cool. And February is month of letters, so I have not written a letter every day, but I have written quite a few. And I think I will write the equivalent of mail days in February, just not on the right day. I think I put 10 in the mailbox today. So, I sent out some Valentines. I sent out some pen pal letters. We sponsor a child in Bolivia through Compassion International, so we dropped a picture and some stickers and a note into the mail for him. And I got a pen pal letter in the mail. I'm really behind on pen pal writing. Do you guys have pen pals? Do you like pen pals? Very curious. I'm looking for a couple new pen pals. If you're interested, PM me. I will pen pal with you. I say that after I say I'm way behind on my pen pals, so take that for what it's worth. Pitfalls this week. I did not work on my new game at all. I had zero creative energy. After all of the ripping out of all of the projects, all of my creative energy was gone. But I will get back to that because when we're headed, I'm recording a little early tonight, we're headed to New Mexico for game weekend. And when we go back to New Mexico for the next game weekend, I would like to have it ready to test play with them and their kids. So, alpha test is first level of proof of concept playing. And my other pitfall is I have zero spinning. I don't know the last time since last year that I've had zero spinning, but I've had a really bad hand week. I'm sure you guys really want to see my bloody hands. But I have fingers. Yeah, you were making me laugh, dude.
Sorry.
I have 5 fingers that have cracks and bleeding on them. So I did not even dare touch the wheel this week because that makes it way worse every time. Even though I spin with gloves on, they still get worse when I spin. Prizes this week. I am so excited to announce a new giveaway. We have a giveaway from Christine from the Yarnings podcast, KDLB. She gifted to me because she's the sweetest thing ever, and won for you guys a copy of her Harmonized cowl. I fell in love with this when she showed it on her podcast. And there's a kit from Sheep Spot that I ordered with this colorway called Be Mine, Sheep Spot, in the Be Mine colorway. And I love it so much. I should have looked. I don't know if there's still kits available, but if there are, you should go and get one because they are gorgeous. It also came with a project bag. And I have a really soft spot for cutesy stitch markers. And I love this one with a little sheep on it. And this is me. I wear bows in my hair like this all the time. I don't really, but I really do wish I had the guts too, because I think these bows are so cute, even on going on 40-year-olds. So I will be opening a prize thread called Harmonize Cowl Giveaway. If you would like to be eligible to win this, make sure you're a member of the group. Go onto that thread and tell me, yes, I would love to win this. If you do not follow Christine, if you do not watch the Yarnings podcast, take this as your opportunity to hop over. Follow her Yarnings podcast because she is fabulous. She is sweet and she is geeky and she talks about games and she designs things. I don't design things yet. So she's like what I want to be when I grow up. I want to design cool things like Christine does. So I will be drawing for that when I film next week, which will be sometime between Thursday and Sunday of next week. I make no promises on this specific date. So get in there and do it fast. Don't dawdle because I will close it, yes.
That'll be the 19th through the 22nd of February.
He knows dates. We should keep him around, shouldn't we? I say that I've hung a calendar up, but it never crosses my mind. Oh, yeah. Ooh, I bet I could use that calendar and tell you what today's date is. I never do that. Today is is it Thursday?
Yes.
Today is Thursday, February 12th, 2015. If the engineer stays on here, you guys might get dates at the beginning. Wouldn't that be awesome? So, but I am in love with this. I'm going to be casting on very soon. Oh, what else I was going to tell you? She is doing a knit along for this in her group. So, go. Join the knit along. See if Sheep Spot has any kits left and order them. And it is in Basecamp. It's the only for sure thing in Basecamp because everything else is up in there. But I know for sure I'm going to knit this with her knit along. So, yay for prizes. Go and show her our support. Let her know that you saw this over here. Lots of entries. Lots of entries. Let's have lots of entries. Mountain of Conquered Things. Well, I told you I ripped everything I own out. So there are no knitting. Oh, no, that's a total lie. I do have a Conquered Thing in knitting. Brace yourselves. You're going to be shocked. It's a washcloth. I know, shocking, right? Oh, see? Sound effects and everything. This is the first. I've knit a few this year. This is the first one that's actually going in the Christmas 2016 pile. If there are others that are in that pile, I've lost it. So I'm going to assume I have given them all away, and this is the first one for the actual pile. Otherwise, there may be some little lost washcloths out there that are feeling very in love right about now. So I had about this much to go, and while we played something the other night, Summoner Wars, I knit and got that last few rows in. So my Mountain of Conquered Things finished project only got about 10 rows of love, but At least it's something to show you that I'm finished. I don't feel like I have to show you finished things every time, but it's kind of sad not to. Especially when I have done enough knitting to finish multiple things. But I never regret it. I never regret this ribbing out. Never. But what have I finished reading? I finished reading 4 things this week. Discworld book number 1, The Color of Magic by Terry Pratchett. It was fun. I have to tell you, I felt like I spent 96%, 95% of this book having no clue what was going on. None. I don't know if that's just because it was me or because you're just dropped into strange worlds and you're not supposed to know what's going on yet. But I still enjoyed it enough to go ahead and buy the second one. So the second one is there for me to read and hopefully finish in February because that's my goal, to read 1 a month. I finished the short story Mitosis by Brandon Sanderson. It is in the Reckoner series. I'm ahead of him.
She's ahead of me.
I'm ahead of him. Proud moment. He reads faster than I do. I can read all day while the kids are doing their schoolwork and still not stay up with them. It was very good. I realized I had forgotten a lot from Steelheart. It's in between Steelheart and Firefight. I was going to say Fireflight, but I think it's Firefight.
Yeah. I think that's right.
We've had this conversation like 15 times. Neither one of us are sure. It's YA. Is this a YA series officially?
I think so. I think technically.
Technically YA, but you know our rules. There is no, other than reading things that are still too grown up for you. There are things that are still grown up for me. George R. R. Martin is too grown up for me. We read it all, and I think our kids are probably not too far from being able to read it. There was nothing.
Probably pretty close. But yeah, it's most of Brandon Sanderson's other books are epic fantasy,
long
magic, swords, things like that.
And I will say about his writing that, as far as like violence or sexual content or language, he writes very clean.
Yeah.
It's very exciting, but very clean. There is nothing that I would necessarily object to my children reading. It would just be way over their heads. Maybe a little violent. But even his violence isn't gory. It's not like make you ill violence. It's just lots of epic magic battle kind of things. So I am, the third book on my list is called Hotlandia number 1. It was free on Kindle. I buy lots of stupid things that are free on Kindle, and I read them in the middle of the night. We don't all sleep at our house. I am prone to nightmares, and I've been having nightmares every time I fall asleep for 2 weeks now, so I've been up a lot in the night. I have a snorer now.
Yeah.
And neither one of my children seem inclined to sleep through the night anymore. My daughter is not going to sleep till like midnight, and then she's getting up with bad dreams. And the son has just been wandering at night. And I know that that's not actually uncommon for kids on the autism spectrum to not sleep the night through and to wander some. So I intentionally pick stupid, mindless things to read in the middle of the night. And if this is your favorite book ever, I'm sorry, I just called it stupid. But it was really pretty bad. It was about all these women competing to be in like the snooty Mom and Tots, Pacific Heights Mom and Tots Club. It was really pretty mindless. And I was very disappointed to see that it's number 1 of year 1. So the big climactic event that they're building up to, which is not even that exciting to begin with, isn't even in this book. You have to buy the second book for $2.99 for it. I don't think I care for $2.99. If it came up free or 99 cents, I might buy it, but I'm not going to spend $3 more on a book that took me 2 nights to read. Not going to happen. The other book in my Mountain of Conquered Things, oh my goodness, this is going on forever. Maybe I didn't get more knitting done because I read a lot, is Tum Tum and Nutmeg. I'm not used to not having to block other people's faces. Adventures Beyond Nutmouse Hall. This is actually the second collection of Tum Tum and Nutmeg books, but it was the only one that was in the store when I saw it. This is a collection of 3 books. Stories about these 2 little mice who live in Nutmouse Hall, and these are the sweetest, funnest little stories ever. We've been doing them as bedtime stories off and on for about a year now, and all 4 of us really loved them. They are just kind of Peter Rabbity, or well, here, let me see. evocative of classics like The Borrowers, which is very much what it
Yeah.
reminded me of. And we enjoyed The Borrowers. So even at 10 and 12 now, I guess he was technically 11 when we finished it, but they still enjoyed it. This one has a pirate adventure and a crazy adventure with ballerinas and school gerbils, and Nutmeg and Tum Tum take care of, they're the little fairies that take care of the two little children that live in the house, the
Yeah.
cottage where Nutmouse Hall is. I would recommend this for out loud, sweet family reading for any family that liked little, sweet, fun adventure stories. There was alcohol and getting drunk in one of them. So if that would offend your sensibilities to read to your small children, just no heads up, they get some rats drunk.
It's in the pirate one.
It's in the
so-
pirate one, so you've got thieving and drunk rats, but I thought it was hilarious. We found it to be rather humorous.
Yeah.
So that is what is in the Mountain of Conquered Things. What is climbing the mountain? Everything. Climbing the mountain and base camp are all smushed together today because I don't even know what I'm going to work on right now. The first thing is the Entrelac scarf. It's one of the things that got frogged. I messed it up 2 more times since last I spoke to you. I had to rip the whole thing out. I had to rip the whole thing out again, and I was done. So I found I still want to learn the technique, but I thought I might need a pattern. Then instead of working the whole length of the scarf, I worked back and forth on the short side. And so I found the Danica pattern from Knitty. It is, I'm not sure which issue it is, but it looks like this. Still very similar to the one I was doing. It's going to be the same effect, but I'm working the short way instead of the long way. And I am really pleased with how it's turning out. It's going to have a lot more ends to weave in, but I'm okay with that. After weaving in all those washcloths in one day, I'm not daunted by that anymore. So here it is, and I am still in love with this yarn. I am still in love with Entrelac, and I'm really pleased with the way it's turning out. So it always looks kind of funny until it gets blocked because of all the short rows, and well, I guess this isn't technically short rows, but all of the gymnastics the yarn goes through. It kind of looks bumpy until it gets blocked. And you can see lots of ends there, but again, I'm not concerned about that. So that is definitely going to continue to climb the mountain because I'm having fun with it. Next is the Mines of Moria hat that I was such a baby about casting on. Oh my goodness, I was so flipped out about this. This is the one I'd put off for 3 years. I'm having so much fun, and it's looking great. I don't know how much progress I've made on it since last we spoke. I can't remember if I cast it on or not. I think I had not, but I'm not sure. So, again, this is a very basic, like knit 1, purl 1, on one row, in the next row, knit 1, knit through the back loop. No, see, I can't even say it right. This is a very simple brim. It took me 3 tries. Let's just go with that. But again, I love doing cables and color work together. I think it's just one of the coolest things in the whole world. So I've been enjoying that immensely. And that I will continue to work on because I want that done before the Disney trip. And I would like to wear the Entrelac scarf at the Disney trip, but I would also like to wear my Harmonize by Christine, KDLB, before the trip. Today, actually they got here Saturday, but my stuff from Knit Picks has been taking forever to get here. So 3 days after I ordered it, I didn't even look for it in our office at our apartment complex. I finally checked on it today and it had been there almost a week. So, yay Knit Picks, you're shipping faster again. Good work. This is the dough gloss. I'm going to use it for the heels and toes and possibly cups, depending on how long he wants them, for this yarn. This yarn is Yarn vs. Zombies. Year of the Geek Club. This was the Star Wars colorway. So this was going to be my travel knitting because the Entrelac scarf cannot be travel knitting and the hat cannot be travel knitting. But now, since this is going to be extra balls of yarn because I've got to do heels and toes in different colors, I don't know if it gets to be travel knitting. So I think the travel knitting is going to be these socks that I'm knitting for my sister to do for a friend for her birthday. This is Cyborg's Craft Room, Monet's Garden sock yarn. And in the box from Knit Picks came my 32-inch sock needles. So I suspect these will go on the needles before we leave town tomorrow. But I haven't made a final decision because these were supposed to be first. And this was supposed to be first. And this was not even going to exist. But I was like, ooh, shiny, yarn's on sale. I have to do a project with it. And this, I was like, ooh, very, very, very shiny. I cannot pass this whole opportunity up. So how fun is it to have so many projects that you're excited about that you can't even figure out what to do next? I think it's the best problem ever. What is in the spinning pile? It is still going to be Model Mermaid from Created by LCB to ply with the silver thread. So when my hands feel like spinning again, that will be next on the list. So I don't know what order all that's going to go into, but that is all somewhere between base camp and climbing the mountain. I put it all in my pack in base camp, and we're just going to hike with the whole thing on our shoulders. How does that sound? Ducks in a row. Ducks in a row. I may be the only person in the world who did not know this trick, but we did this a few years ago. I read it in some 99-cent book I found about cleaning on Kindle, and I have loved it ever since. We went out to Lowe's, and I bought a stack of white shop towels, terry cloth white towels. I think I got about 25 or 30 of them. I also bought these microfibery for cleaning glass with. I got a pack of those. I think we probably got 12 of those. And I bought a bucket. And what I did was I keep all of these on the shelf in the laundry room. And this bucket sits in the laundry basket that lives on the dryer for towels. When we need to clean anything that is not a toilet, toilets get Clorox wipes, but everything else that is not a toilet gets cleaner, and we just grab, if it's glass or silver, I grab a yellow towel. If it's countertops or tables, then I grab a white towel. And so I have towels that are all the same size and look very nice if they're together. And I have a ton of them, so I only have to wash them once every week or two. And they have a bucket to live in when they're dirty, so they don't get mixed in with my other clothes. And then when I'm starting to run low, I just run a big load with bleach and hot water and soap, detergent, and I clean them because I hated going through paper towels, and I hated going through like Clorox wipes because, one, they make your hands smell really bad. And the people sensitive to smells in your house are like, oh, everything stinks. And then you feel wasteful because you're like, you know, throwing all of these paper towels or wipies away. And so we just got a great big stack of white towels and we use them for everything. And then I clean them and put them back in the stack and use them again. I don't know. It has really simplified cleaning for us. And I keep one down with the cleaner. I just use like Method spray cleaner stuff because they come up with seasonal stuff. Like in the fall, there was an apple scented one. Yeah. Real precise way of picking my who has the funnest scent. But it's really nice because I can be like, okay, clean the table. And then the kids know they're supposed to grab the clean white towel, clean the table, and they know where to put it when it's dirty. So that is my ducks in the row for the week. A great big stack of terry cloth towels to make cleaning simpler and less waste and less paper towels that you have to pay money for. I've been using this same set for like 3 or 4 years, and we still have not worn through them. So I know in the long run we have saved money too. So, games. I was supposed to write down everything we are kickstarting. Do you know?
No.
Are we kickstarting anything? You just backed something. What did you back?
Well, yeah, I think I am going to back it. It is, what's it called?
I put him on the spot.
Yes.
That was not kind.
Now it's just gone. I will find, actually I might have it open, but it is a game that combines worker placement with dice pulling, where you put your worker out and then you've got like a range of dice, like all the fun shapes, the
Diced fruit.
8s and the 6s.
Fruit. Diced.
Diced fruit, I think is what it's
I
called.
think it's called diced fruit.
We'll put a link. But so everybody does their actions, and then and your kids being sent out by your grandmother to get out of her hair and buy fruit down at the market. And then once you collect all the different kinds of fruit, then you win and you get grandma's fruit salad. So
Yummy,
it's
yummy.
very, yeah, it's very kind of a fun theme, and the dice in it are just gorgeous. They're kind of fruit, like if you open up a pack of Starburst and kind of imagine those as dice, um, kind of have that range. But so yeah, you put your people out, and then then you roll your dice, or you roll the single pool of dice, and that determines which space pays out fruit or bonuses or whatever that round. And so it's just because you put your person on what you think is going to be something that'll give you the fruit you need. If the dice roll something different, it's going to go to somebody else. And then everything moves around and goes again.
As someone who is not good at worker placement or friendly with the dice, I'm skeptical that I will have fun at this game, but it is a really cool looking game. So go check that out if you're looking for something to back on Kickstarter. Contest stuff. I am not going to go into lots of detail about the contests because no, not every single week. But all of that information can be found in the threads on Ravelry. And episode 24 talks extensively about all the contests. I will give all the details again in March. But you can go to the thread, join the group, game, knit. Just in case I have not clarified this before, the only pictures on Instagram that have to have knitting in them are the fiber and dice contest ones. Your 2x2s and 10x10s, you do not have to be knitting during. A lot of our games we play either move too fast or I have to concentrate too hard to knit during them. So you do not have to have knitting in those pictures, just the ones for the fiber and dice proper contest, not the fiber and dice 2x2 or the fiber and dice 10x10. So that brings us to the game of the week. I am not going to go through all of the rules, but I do want to talk about it briefly because I have to tell you how very excited I am to see people gaming with their kids in the contests. I've had a few questions. Is it okay if we're playing kids' games? Absolutely. I think that the patience and skills that you gain from gaming are a gift for kids. They love your time. They love to have fun as a family. And so, yes, game with your kids. This is Castle Panic. If you go out to buy Castle Panic, it will probably not look like this anymore. There is new art. It's really pretty, but I do not have the new art. But it is still called Castle Panic. Defend the castle, survive the panic, become the master slayer. 1 to 6 players, ages 10 and up. I would say that with our kids playing with grown-ups also at the table, we started, I think ours were 7 and 8 when we started playing this game.
Yeah, we've had this for a while.
This is one of the early games that we bought. But the idea is that you have the board. This is the main reason the engineer is here, because this one's a big board. Do you mind if I cover you up for a minute?
No, that's fine.
We have it upside down, but that's okay.
All right.
But right here, you are going to take these pieces and you are going to build. You're going to start set up with walls that look like this and towers. And so you're going to have a tower behind your wall. So you're going to be set up with towers and walls all the way around. And then you're going to, this board folds really funky. And so we tend to break it because we fold it wrong. Maybe the new one has improved on the way the board folds. Can you just show me the order of play real quick?
Yeah.
I'm just going to talk through an order of play real quick just to give you an idea of how it goes. The first thing you do is draw up. You have a set of cards. There are different kinds of cards. You have basic cards, swordsman. This one's a blue swordsman. There are red and green to match the 3 colors of sections on the board. That means that the swordsman, if he's blue, can attack in the blue. It's spread out over the 2 sides, but he can attack things in the swordsman ring on the blue section of the board. So it's very straightforward as to what cards can attack what enemies. There are also hero cards, like a blue hero can hit in any ring that's blue. And then there are all sorts of interesting bonus cards that give you special powers. This is cooperative. You're working together to keep the hordes of monsters from the forest from hopping in and ruining your city. There's an any color swordsman and any color archer and any color knight, so they can attack in their ring of any color. Bonus cards have little purple. Again, this may have changed in the new edition, but I don't think it would have changed a whole lot. Do not draw any monster tokens this turn. So these are like one-time special use things. The other cards you might drop into your hand are bricks and mortar. And you can use, on your turn, you can use brick and mortar to rebuild a missing wall to help protect your towers. So you draw up and fill your hand up with cards. Then you can discard one of the cards in your hand and draw another one. So you have a little bit of control over what's in your hand. You can trade cards with other players. That's optional. Then you play any cards you want. You can play to rebuild walls. You can play special events. You can attack monsters that are creeping in. And then you move the monsters. So as you play, here, we can just hold this corner up, I think.
Okay.
As you play, you will start placing monsters. You've got a whole great big stack of monsters that look, well, that's not actually a monster. Oh, yeah, hold up the bag. That's perfect.
There's the rest of them.
And they start in the forest. And they start moving in closer and closer and closer. And if you don't kill them, then they knock down your wall. And then eventually they knock down your tower.
And then they start moving clockwise inside, behind the walls, knocking down more towers.
Which is a real pain. You don't want that to happen. This is an orc. You can tell because he has 2 silvery shield corners that he has 2 hit points. So you would have to hit him 2 times. I keep covering up one of our faces. I'm sorry. You would have to hit him 2 times to kill him. Again, in the appropriate ring. If he's sitting right here, then only a blue swordsman can attack him, or an any color swordsman or a hero. So they move in. So the next thing you do is you move the enemies in. That's step 5 of your play. And then you draw 2 new monsters, and you place them by rolling a die. It's just a 6-sided die. And let's say I draw a troll, and I roll a 2. Oh no, I'm going to roll a 6. Draw a troll, roll a 6. I put him in the forest in section 6. So there's 6 sections around the board. And so that tells you where the enemies go. And then play passes around, and the next person draws up cards, discards and draws if they want to, trades cards, plays their cards, kills things, pushes things back, rebuilds tower. I mean, you can't rebuild towers, rebuilds walls. And then adds more monsters to the board. There are some fun things. I say fun. Interesting things you can draw. You can draw boulders. If you draw a boulder, when you draw a monster tile, then it starts in the forest of whatever you roll. Say you roll a 1, and it's going to roll through until it either hits a wall or a tower or rolls off the other side of the board, killing everything in its path. So that makes it more interesting. There are some that move all the monsters that are red, so they all move closer to your tower, and the other colors as well. All players discard 1 card, so you have to shrink your hand down, so you're kind of handicapped for a little while. There's a plague on the swordsman, so everyone has to discard all their swordsman cards. Oh, this is the worst, and I'm notorious for drawing this one. In fact, I draw this one sometimes back to back. 2 of these. You draw 3 monster tokens and put them all out. And then there's some bosses. This is the Troll Mage. He has special powers. All of their special powers are outlined for you on one of the corners of the board. So if you draw a boss monster, it walks you through exactly what to do when you place him. The order of play is also on the board. I would say this game is extremely family friendly. It is very user friendly. The play is pretty straightforward. It's not as complicated as some of the other games that we have played. It is great for, when again, gaming with grandparents or non-gamers. We have done this with play groups. You know, a couple of our little geeky friends that they get together and we've played this with them. So, this is one of our favorites. We are not playing it as much right now. I think our kids kind of think they've outgrown it a little bit. And that's okay.
Well, we have a lot of shiny new games as well.
Yes, there's lots of shiny new.
And they've gotten old enough to play some of our, bigger, more grown-up games.
Yes. And this one is a pretty straightforward, simple mechanic.
Yes.
So, we've probably played it, I don't know, 15, 20 times before the kids got bored with it. So I think that's got great. And again, I think if we'd started when they were younger or we had fewer games, it would have had a lot more replay value.
Well, and our son keeps looking at, there's an expansion for this called the Wizard's Tower.
There is.
When we go to the game store, he keeps looking at it. So I imagine someday we'll come home with that. And I've heard that adds a lot of variety, but also it can increase the difficulty considerably. So.
Yeah. Again, this is one that they have kind of figured out the strategy for, so it's not as challenging as it was the first, 7 or 8 times we played it. So that is the game of the week. We are going to go run errands while this converts. We might actually get milkshakes while we're running errands, yay, so that they're not quite so boring, because we have to go sit in line at CVS and we have to go to Target and it's almost bedtime. So, yay. But, Lord willing, and the creek don't rise, I will see you guys again next weekend. Bye.